Greetings, everyone. I'm here in lovely Gothenburg, Sweden. First time for me in Sweden, and I'm here to talk about SATO solutions. I'm joined by Norberto Bermudez, Daniele Amancio, and Eckhard Wernig. Thank you very much for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to a really good discussion. I know you all have been with the company longer than me, but SATO Solutions covers a really wide range and really many things which people wouldn't really realize about how many benefits they can give to the society and consumers. The word solution obviously means more than product. It goes a bit wider. It's something with solving needs and not just fulfilling one purpose, but multiple purposes. And that's what I want to develop a bit more. And the expert for that is you, Daniele. So maybe you could just tell us more about why SATO goes beyond products and services alone to sell solutions.
Yeah, sure. So I would say that SATO thinks of the big picture, solving wider issues over individual pain points. And that's why at the end of the day, we promote solutions over products. And it's very common that people relate SATO to thermal printers, because we do offer thermal printers, but that's part of the smart package that we offer. And this smart package includes the thermal printers, the top quality consumables, softwares enabling direct cloud connection, maintenance and support to ensure that our customers will always have access to the solutions they need and when they need it. And that results in the peace of mind for the end users and their end customers as well.
A crucial point. It's reassuring because the software you mentioned is, for example, AEP these days. The printers we have are AEP enabled, application enabled printing, which we discussed on another podcast. But basically, with that software, the printers can react in real time. So they can, when things change at the company side, the printers can be updated. The labels they print can be changed instantly almost. And that wasn't the case before, was it? And I guess it's an exciting time to be in this industry. So Eckhard, we went into a lot of detail about AEP just now. We don't have to go reinvent the wheel on that one. But if you say AEP solution, there's some very good examples, almost too many to recount. But could you give us some maybe for this one?
Yes, I'm absolutely happy to do that. You mentioned another podcast that is explaining the history of AEP.
Right.
And I think I see two aspects. If we look a little bit into back of the history and taking what Daniele said earlier, solution, I would use another word because it's maybe more an analogy. What SATO delivers is a labeling box with the flexibility of AEP and the intelligence that AEP provides in the printer. It can be attached or made happen for the customer's labeling processes so their needs are completely fulfilled. So we come with a labeling box. We come with the hardware, the printer itself. We come with the needed consumables, and we come with the intelligence in the printer to put that together. That's number one. Number two is we see in the last years more and more cloud connectivity. So I think there's no one in at least the Western world that doesn't connect to the cloud at least once. I would not nearly say once an hour, if you're not in the podcast. So you really connect to the cloud, and so do customers' processes. So do customers' labeling needs as well. And our printers, together with this AEP on board, which is more or less, it's more than just an operating system, or as we say in our business, a firmware. It's really intelligence in the printer that is modifiable. We have web AEP, we have AEP, we have the possibility to connect to clouds. We have in other podcast success cases or use cases of cloud connectivity. But by this, the printer becomes a thing of the internet. So in an IoT, Internet of Things world, it's really a part of it. Like any PC nowadays, like any smart device nowadays, like any production device, it connects. But it not only connects to the cloud, it also connects to other intelligent pieces like PLCs, like scales, like everything. So it's an integrated part of the customer's processes.
I think that's a great point. And I think the evolution you described about becoming smart and AEP and web AEP and so on in a short spell of time, that for me brings to mind the evolution of the mobile phone. which, as most of you know, before, when you wanted to take a good picture, you would use an SLR, a camera, and then digital cameras came. So people spent money on digital cameras. The phone and the camera were separate. But then, cameras started going on phones. And soon the camera on a phone became comparable or equivalent in some cases to a digital camera. So now hardly anyone buys digital cameras because the phone has taken over. And the phone has become smart. With a phone, you have access to almost all the information in the whole internet, and unlimited data almost. So that is the case. And I think the key thing is that the solutions we have do have access to amazing amounts of data, but they control what is processed and they give the customer only what they need. So it's kind of using the data in a smart way and not overwhelming, consumers or companies. And it's kind of a lean system. You don't need a PC because, it's like the way a digital camera became the phone. Before, you would have needed a printer to print labels and a PC to tell the printer what to do. But the printer now knows what to do, and the data comes from the cloud. So you're eliminating costs. As we know, the cost of a PC is much more than just buying a PC. You have to pay for the power and the maintenance and the licensing. So that is a big cost out of the way. It's saving space, and the printers are intelligent, so they can be updated in real time. As we know, things change year to year. The world events, pandemic and war and so on. And this has an effect on companies. It's going to affect the supply chain. Without the smart printer that can adapt in real time, you're going to have a lot of disruption.
It's maybe not only this. Also think about things like counterfeiting, like transparency, like what did I have? Traceability is the word. I had to write it down because it's a complicated word.
Okay.
So printers nowadays, when they're connected to the ICT system, sometimes they even make a picture of the label that is printed and save that picture in a database. So it's a really unchangeable proof of that the data has been processed onto the label in the right form. And this is possible without any middleware, without any PC in between. It's really connecting the printer directly with the database.
It's end-to-end. It's end-to-end. And as you said, irrefutable proof of that label came from that printer and that source. And I think, as you said, it's traceability, which we all need. And it's reassuring. Back to what you said about peace of mind. When we know where something's come from, and that's what the barcode's supposed to do, the numbers, but, this is kind of taking up to a higher level. It's reassuring, isn't it? And Daniele, I know that this is a subject you are good at, and I want to talk about the way that solving these issues for customers over and above just printing a physical label is actually meeting needs and changing lives in some ways. We, as a company, cover many, many industries, almost the whole, across the board. And we mainly sell to partners and resellers, but the products and services we provide impact on their customers as well. And there is a strong connection there, isn't there? There's an emotional connection. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, that's correct. Although we operate B2B, we are always thinking B2C on the end customers because it's all about making a difference in people's lives. And we as SATO, we understand deep down that our solutions can have a direct impact on their routines. Not visible, but I can give you many examples like starting from healthcare, when you're having the right medication, which is good because you are being very well identified from the wristbands, or even logistics when you're very excited to receive a package and you receive it on time because actually the staff on the background could track and trace it and make sure that the package would be delivered for you on time. And on the simple examples of the day-to-day as well, when you are going to a restaurant and you have an excellent meal, you come back home and you feel fine, which is the minimum you expect, right, about going to a restaurant.
Right.
And that's because staff in the kitchen have access to the ingredient label to make sure that the products they are using are not expired, that they had the product stored in the right temperature to avoid that you have a stomach flu, for example. And while everything's happening there, they are using a cloud thermal printer, which happens to be waterproof and avoids you to have another device in the restaurant, for example, a computer. And this example in the restaurant also expands to the delivery, because when you're expecting to receive your food, you also want to make sure that the package was not opened during the way. That's because of the safety labels that SATO provides.
Right. Thank you. That's a lot of examples there, and I did definitely see that. And we all eat out sometimes, and as you said, we all want to have good meals with peace of mind. Some of us are allergic to peanuts or other ingredients. We want to make sure that bad things don't happen. And in the worst cases, people have actually died because labeling was not perfect, whether they buy the food or they eat in a restaurant. So it couldn't be more important. And I think that's a good example. Norberto, you've been with the company quite a long time, I think, and you have an understanding of how the products benefit people's lives and change them. What would you say about that? How does SATO make products to make people's lives better?
Well, one of the things that we believe are very important, that the product should be very easy to use. The interfaces that were consequent with the way we actually present the web pages, that it's intuitive, that it has also icons that people can understand. And of course, we also have the facility to have different languages on the products. So if you speak German or you speak Cyrillic, Russia, or if you speak any other language, you can actually select the menu language of your own. And it would be more easy for any type of person who is actually operating the products, which is one of the things that we believe are very important, easy to use. Then we also have these integrations. We talk about the communications, the different channels that we have. NFC is almost there for almost all of products nowadays. And then you have Bluetooth, you have the VLAN, and we are always improving the VLAN, of course, as the time goes. The new standards needs to be improved as well. So communication is another part that we're working very hard on, and it's actually together on the printer. But if you take a look more around the environmental, then of course the cloud connection, as you mentioned as well. And then we have connectivity to any other type of device or any type of software system. Also, when it comes to maintenance of the product, that we are also providing the printer with a device management system, which is what we call SOS, which also helps the people to program service intervals, checking when things are going wrong or needs to be replaced or changed, or even like in the case of mobile printers, where to find the printer. Just we have a device that can actually beep, and then the people will know where it is.
It's like when you lose your phone at home, you ring it and you find your phone, right?
Exactly.
You often do that, right?
And those are simple things. I mean, we don't have to invent the wheel twice.
I agree.
Very simple.
Thanks, Norberto. I wanted to just touch on what you said about user friendliness and UX and so on, which is very important. And a number of UX designers around there, we can see how important it is for companies to have the right user design. And one thing I noticed, you have a printer here, which we're going to look at in more detail later, but we have a screen. And the reason I think SATO introduced the screens on the printers is because all of us have smartphones and we're used to this kind of interface, and people are comfortable with it. Some of our printers actually play back videos. Am I right in saying this one can do that?
Yeah, exactly. We actually provide the possibility for learning a new product when you are an operator demands some time and some attention. But if you don't have the time, you don't have the attention, or you get new people into the job, then they need to know how to operate the printer. So in this case, I can quickly, very easily provoke an error of the printer by actually pressing the feed button here. And then you have an error. And as soon as you have an error, you have an icon here that says video clip, and then you click on this one. And then you will be able to see actually a video that shows how you need to operate the printer, how to handle it, how to open it, and then load the printer as instructed. And this is not only for things like changing the paper, because if you have to change the print head,
is also there.
Which is actually one very important thing on this new product, is that you can actually see how to change the print head so you don't need to send it back for.
As you said before, that was out of the question. Before, the printhead would have been, only people like technicians would have been able to do it, and otherwise you have to send it to a repair center. But now, when you have a video and it's made user friendly, you and I can change it, and that would save an enormous amount of time and downtime. And
we talk about sustainability, and then reduce cost. We don't need to send this printer back to any repair depot.
Because you know how to do
you're
it.
saving miles and on the road as well.
And not interrupted operations, which is actually the most important point here. I mean, you change the print head locally, and then you're up and running in a couple of minutes.
I want to bring Eckhard in, but I just want to mention the video screen again. Thank you. One thing that comes to mind for me is that the reason that's a good thing and popular is because people these days don't go to the manual. The paper manual has to be, when you buy something, it always has a paper manual. I think there's a certain percentage of the population who still wants to get the manual out to read it when there's a problem. But I think probably you and I, many people watching, would go to YouTube or Google and see, error code and what do we do, and often watch a video. This is kind of reflecting that change or the current era where people want to see what the problem is and instantly solve it. So I think that's really in tune with what people do these days. And
also saves time, right? And that's one of the main unique selling points of the PW4NX, having those video tutorials on the printer.
It's like learning by doing. We all use word processors, and none of us, I think, would go click on help and read, 150 pages of instructions.
Yeah.
But I think we learn by doing, and if we don't succeed, we play around with it. And
think about the situation. What happens? A picker is out in the warehouse, in the DC, somewhere, a lot of goods everywhere, and the paper roll is out. He always have a spare paper roll because it doesn't happen. Now it's a new picker, doesn't know how to work it, but he has it. So should he go all the way back and they make some 20 kilometers a day while picking? Or should he just look at the video and learn it, because it's not very, very complicated, by the way, and then just put it in? It saves a lot of time and a lot of kilometers.
And it gives you the information you need, right?
I did this at home. The other day, the example was a dishwasher. I have a dishwasher at home, and if you use it for a long time, it doesn't drain properly because, it gets clogged up with food. And what happens is you switch it on and you think it's not moving, and then there's an error code. And then you definitely wouldn't get the manual out and look at page 55, the error code. No, you Google the model number and the error code, and you get a video of how to take out the plate and unclog the drain and clean it. And that's a good example.
And if you have the good video, because sometimes you need to look for different videos until you have the right information.
Yeah, and you need to be online as well. Yeah. That's also a thing that here you don't need to be online. Everything is on the printer. So even when you talk about mobility and you're actually walking outside some areas, then sometimes you don't have coverage, or maybe you're using it with the Bluetooth, or maybe you're using another type of connectivity, which is actually then doesn't allow you to do that. I mean, the way you describe is very realistic because of what people does. But in the other hand, this is a production product. Without this product, you cannot not actually take out a product, because you always will need and have to have a label.
And the videos you said to download, they're there already, they're in the system. So I guess it's similar, like when you navigate on the maps, you can download the maps for use anytime. And that's a similar idea, right? So you don't need to be online to get Google Maps, or any maps. You can access them when they're downloaded. So yes, exactly. I see the point. So going back to this printer, when was it out, and can you tell us a bit about the background and what's the standout points of this printer? It's definitely it's pretty small, and it's like a pocket rocket. What does it do?
And this product, I mean, there has been a lot of engineering hours and years before we actually came to this product, and it's actually most definitely defined for the benefit of our customers. We have actually designed it to have the best performance and customer users. It has gone through a lot of testing. We have IP54, which for those who are familiar is actually the dust protection and the water protection. And then we have also vibration and tumbling and drop testing and a lot of tests to make sure that this product will actually withstand the rough environment that it will be working on.
So in theory, if I drop it now, it'd be okay, but I'm not going to test it. But yeah, in
Well,
theory, yes.
I think it will be okay if we drop it a couple of times here, but I rather want to
After we finish the video, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And as you said, we have the videos, we have the dustproof and waterproof. We have it's portable, so it can be moved around when needed inside a company premises.
One of the objectives with this project is actually to create a product that can print as good as a desktop printer. So
Same
it actually
performance.
have the same performance as those desktop printer with high quality. And then there is the option of that you can actually choose quality or speed, because battery is always a pain point on the mobile printing. And when you have this kind of product, you have to select if you want to have the crispy quality printout, or if you have to have the fastest printout speed. Still complaining with the norms of the quality, of course.
Okay.
And that's also a thing that you can select with this product. There are also a lot of ways of making connection to the product. I have my telephone here. I have actually put the printer as access point, so you can actually connect, or a lot of people can connect to the printer and actually work with the device individually, or you can connect to a larger network. And of course, you have a lot of tools that you can use with your telephone if you like.
Even change the language, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if there is a possibility.
You can print an image or document from your phone to the printer, which should not be difficult to do that.
That's correct.
That's possible to do that, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Bluetooth, is that using Bluetooth?
At this very moment, no.
How is the data getting from the phone to the printer?
As I mentioned, we have a Wi-Fi connectivity.
Wi-Fi, okay, right.
The printer is actually in Wi-Fi mode. And what we need to do is just to go into the settings of the printer, take a look into system here and change it from English to, let's see, I think this is Chinese. So with the click, so you already see that is been a change on the display. So let's go back to English so we understand what it says. We also can change the display position very easily. At this moment is 0 degrees, but if I change it at 180 degrees, maybe it's better for our viewers, because you can actually read now the display.
Yeah.
Or you can use other software tools like the NFC connectivity very quickly. Let's actually do a test printing. So by using the NFC, which is actually located in this side of the product, and then you put it here, and it's printing the test label. So it's very flexible. You can have a couple of.
It's amazing.
You can have a couple of applications on your telephone, and then you're actually up and running. You have even the possibility, if you are not close to the product. If you are not very close to the product, you have also the possibility to see the display of the printer at a distance.
From your phone, you mean?
From the phone. So this is actually how it looks. And I can control the printer by using the telephone interface.
So you could be back home in Colombia and watching the printer.
Exactly. I can actually go home for a holiday, and then I will be able to run the printer from any place where I have actually access to a network.
Someone calls you and they want some labels done. They don't know how to do it. They say, and you can just get your phone out in South America and just make it happen here in Europe. Yeah. But as you said, it's very user friendly. So probably they wouldn't need to call you. Anyone can basically get used to it within minutes. And then
by watching the video tutorials.
Exactly. So I'm very, very excited about this product, and I see forward to see our customers jumping into this.
Can you put into words what it means to you?
Well, for me, it's very interesting. As you know, I'm working a lot with software solutions, And this is, as we have talked about in this podcast and in other podcasts, it's another intelligent device in our intelligent series. So we're covering more and more dedicated to certain area devices, from mobile printers of different sizes, over industrial printers, over printing engines for high-speed printing, which is now also in the cloud, and our FX series for restaurants and other applications. So for me, it's wonderful. Another device in the cloud.
Yeah. So you can actually have the intelligence going on there, but at the same time sending dump jobs through network connection from a Windows driver. It has the different emulations that we have also to make it more flexible. So you can have different applications running at the same time on the same product.
But emulation is a key point because some people have different systems, legacy systems from before. And when you have a system like this which can adapt, it doesn't mean you have to tear up all your existing stuff. You can put this in, it can kind of almost plug and play. It can work with what you have now. Is that right?
Yes.
It can emulate
right.
other things around it.
So what we actually do is we go to a customer and we say, look, you don't need to change anything on your system. So you can still use the same visualizations, you can use the same system. Let us put our product there. If it's actually another brand, no problem. We can actually emulate it and replace it, and even be faster than the original one, of course.
Well, yeah, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And when people use it, I think they realize. I think as the demonstration you just gave us was really good. The phone next to it and an instant label. Daniele, coming back to you. So you're a product marketer, and obviously when you have a nice piece of kit like this, it makes your job easier. But you also seem excited about this launch.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell me like what's exciting you? And generally, when you have this kind of smart product, why does it makes your job easier? Because you personally are really impressed by the products. What impresses you about it?
Yeah, what impresses me the most, not only about this product, but about all the products from SATO, is that once you have installed, you don't need to worry about it because you are sure that's going to work fine. And that is resulting as well in spare time for your staff because you are sure that they can finish the job quickly without stress. So it's a stress-free operation that we're providing. And with this product, it's not different.
It's basically, it's taking care of things under the radar and and it adapts when needed. And I think we've mentioned this before, the SOS service, but it's really worth mentioning again, the remote maintenance service. Every printer needs maintenance, of course, but before you would need to open it up and check, how much wear on the wheel and where's the ink and toner and so on. And this has sensors and it feeds the data back to SATO. So as and when you need replacements made, that is basically, you have warning.
Yeah, it's a whole calendar for you, so you don't need to think about it because the reminder is going to be there.
You can focus on the other things, which are, labels enable many, many things that people think of them as just paper and printing, but actually in our world of supply chains and logistics, everything, probably the phones we have and everything came to our homes because of these supply chains working. I mean, phones are not made in Europe, are they? They're made in Asia most of the time. So they have to travel here. And the clothes we buy, they all travel. It's amazing when you think about it. The world depends on supply chains. The clothes we're wearing, the phones we're using, these all came because of supply chains working properly.
Yeah, there's a whole operation behind that is not visible for everyone. But if you go into details, you see the workflow is working fine.
In my opinion, I think that two things are very important in nowadays business. One, which is actually going towards automatization. Because we saw in the COVID, a lot of companies has to stop production. And I think that automatization is one of the things that we also want to be included in. And with the new products and the product range that we presented with intelligence is we covering that part. And the second challenge here is actually, sorry, I lost it, automatization and sustainability.
Yeah.
And sustainability is a thing that was also very important because it's actually being demanded by all the different regions or countries who are working together for a better world, and also saving time, resources, and of course um, energy. And those are the things that we provide also with this type of product. Fastest printout, quicker data handling. It will shorten the times. So all these topics are actually related and connected together with our vision that we have.
And that results in sustainability again, right?
Yes.
That's correct. Eckhard, would you agree?
I definitely agree. Well, I would have aspect 3 also on top of it, which you mentioned before. It's the general connectivity.
That's automatization.
If you, it falls under automatization, yeah, but that's one thing. I think it's important to really get. If you think about the whole supply chain, if you think about all the processes that happen while one of those process steps is labeling, then it needs to be an interactive and kind of natural part of that chain. And this little machine does that completely.
Tracking and tracing, and then of course the circle economy, which is actually also by recollecting the information that you need and then provide and backfeed information and know where the product life cycle is.
Yeah, good point. Recycling is very important, and here in Sweden, that's important for the national country as well. One thing about automation, which you mentioned, for me, this is also a big topic these days: automation, AI. Like it or not, most industries are being increasingly automated, and AI is affecting many industries or becoming a big part of many industries. I'm a writer myself, and people actually thought AI would first overtake jobs which were, for example, driving or factory working. But interestingly, it's not overtaking creative writing jobs, but it's the performance of AI is much higher than people thought it would be possible. So if you are not good at your creative writing or translating, then these days a computer can approach what you're doing. Obviously, I think I'm better than that. But Eckhard, I want to ask you about this. Automation AI, many people don't see it as positive. They worry about losing their job, or they think it's, Big Brother. How would you answer those people?
Like you did a little bit. For me, AI is a natural part of the processes. Again, in the first place, it always depends on how it is used and how it will be used in the future. We have seen the little debacle that happened with AI recently on Google.
It did, yeah.
So I think it will happen. Nobody can get away from it on one hand. For our business, talking about solutions that we did in the beginning and so on and so forth, think about one thing. Everything needs an ID. Everything needs to be identified. Even data blocks have to be identified. We have this blockchain thing and so on and so forth. And this is our business. This is where we are. We give everything an ID. If it's a T-shirt, or if it's a new PC, or if it's a printer, you see on top of that there is actually a little ID. So this is where we are, and if that ID is coming from an AI block or not AI block, as long as it has an ID and we can use that data and collect that data and feed it back, this is our business.
I think also there is another view very important here. If we take a look to the global situation, and you take a look into what it's population pyramid population, which is actually changing dramatically. And for instance, taking a Japanese example, is that you have very young people, very few, and then you have very older people, and then automatization is actually a demand more because they need to start producing the same amount of things, but with less people.
Alberto, any final words about SATO and the printer?
Yeah, well, I'm very excited for this new product. It's a part of the family. I think we have low performance mobile printing, and now we have two pieces of high performance printer, PW2NX, PW4NX, which is actually complemented each other. And I'm looking forward to hear the opinion of our customers when we launch this product.
Has it been a hard journey for you? You've been working very hard on this, I believe.
It has been a lot of up and downs.
Yes,
It
tough
has
journey,
been
yeah?
some changes on the design in some specific cases, but if you're finally there, and I
That's
think
good,
that I have to say thank you to R&D people in Japan who is actually making a great job.
Okay. Let's face it, when you think of things exciting, a printer is not the first thing that comes to mind, but the end results of this printer really do change lives and make things easier for people across the board, as we saw. So it's worth celebrating. So I think that's why we're doing the podcast in the first place. So,
Yeah, it's all about the customer's feedback as well.
Yes.
And SATO as a company has a really high percentage of repeat customers for that reason, because the customers are used to us not just meeting needs, but exceeding them.
Exceeding expectations.
Exceeding expectations. I think that's the key. Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for being with us. It's been a great discussion. I'm looking forward to the launch, and I'd like to thank Norberto, Daniele, and Eckhart for joining me. And thanks very much for staying with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you very much.
Bye.